A lot of you guys have asked us to take a look at the new Novritsch SSR4. And I have it right here, to my left, your right. And to my right, your left, is the Lancer Tactical Gen 3. And you might be asking yourself, Cisco, why is the Lancer Gen 3 there? We'll get into that shortly. What's going on, you guys? My name is No Cap Cisco. As you can see, I am not wearing a cap today because I'm going to be telling the truths. Not that I don't normally tell the truth. I'm normally completely truthful with you guys, but I'm telling extra truths today, okay? Because we have the Novritsch SSR4. This is their new lineup of affordable AEGs, and from the looks and the price that Novritsch has it at, it is definitely a mid-tier airsoft gun. And to my right, we have the Lancer Tactical Gen 3, which is the fastest and hottest selling mid-tier airsoft gun on our website. And it is our gold standard for mid-tier guns because it is definitely priced at the mid-tier range, but the performance is pushing the envelope of, you know, going into the high-end realm. So we are going to be comparing the SSR4 to our gold standard of mid-tier guns. Starting off, we're going to take a look at the Lancer Tactical Gen 3. If you don't know about it, go check out our video where we go over it in detail. But to give it the quick rundown, we do have a polymer receiver set, which is lightweight yet still durable, has the clean M-block rail, the new ergonomic pistol grip, and the slim stock, which makes it look very sleek. Oh, I forgot to mention that it also has flip-up sights included. Internally, you get the 6.03 inner barrel rotary style Hopup unit, the completely version 2 compatible gearbox with a full metal rack piston, 18-to-1 gear set, a high-speed motor, and the nice cherry on top Design Arms Nebula Mosfet, which is wired to Dean's, good move, but also offers you a ton of programmability options. So if you don't know about it, again, check out our full video. But out of the box, the Gen 3s do come with the nice Lancer Tactical high-speed magazine, which is fantastic. It also comes with a low-power spring, so if you want to take the gun indoors, you can easily swap out that spring and do so. And you also get the programming card that allows you to unlock the full potential of Design Arms Nebula Mosfet. With all of that being said, the Lancer Tactical Gen 3 is our gold standard for mid-tier airsoft guns, especially at the price point. The M-Lock version that I have in front of me is priced at about $230, which is the perfect price for a mid-tier airsoft gun. But Lancer Tactical does give some of their old Gen 2 models the Gen 3 treatment. That is actually a little bit cheaper than the M-Lock version that I have in front of me. So if you are on a tighter budget or a gun builder and plan on changing everything out anyways, you can get a little bit more extra value with the Gen 3. All right, now it's time to take a look at the SSR4. But wow, this looks strangely familiar. Where have I seen this stock before? And this pistol grip. And the body pins. Even the charging handle. Huh, this is giving me some insight. The model in front of me is the full metal version, so it does have a nice full metal receiver. We also have the metal sleek M-Lock handguard, the very familiar pistol grip and stock. Internally, we do have a 6.03 inner barrel, a rotary style Hopup unit, a polished version 2 gearbox with a 16-to-1 wire cut gear set, full metal rack piston, and Novritsch's ETU. Yeah, that comes included. It has a couple of programming features, but yeah, I'll talk about that a little bit later. Out of the box, you get the gun, obviously, but you also get this nice polymer magazine, the original polymer magazine, okay? And you also get this nice black flash hider, which is a very nice touch, especially because the orange flash hider is actually the outer barrel. They spray painted the threads orange, which I think is a really good move, considering that the standard is the plastic orange flash hider that is super glued and pinned in usually. So good move, Novritsch, for thinking about the player. But how do I program the ETU? Huh? How? It wasn't in the box, it wasn't in the manual. I went onto your website, it wasn't there. How do I do it? I don't know. Now, the model of the SSR4 that I have in front of me right now is retailing for $330. You might be saying, Cisco, $330, that's not a fair comparison to the Lancer Tactical Gen 3. Well, Novritsch does have a polymer version of the SSR4, where it has the polymer receiver and polymer handguard, but the internals are exactly the same. The metal receiver is nice, but we're gonna be breaking these down anyways and showing the internals and what the gun is actually about, so we're just gonna get into that. I have a theory, a hypothesis, if you will. I think the SSR4 is made in the same factory as the Lancer Tactical Gen 3. Just like, listen, the stock, the pistol grip. I mean, this looks like the Lancer Tactical Gen 2 pistol grip, but the pistol grip, the Hopup Unit, and the rail system. Okay, this isn't a Lancer Tactical rail system, but this looks exactly the same as a Ranger Armory rail system that we have on our website that comes from the same OEM factory as the Lancer Tactical Gen 3s. I'm not sure about the internals. It could be made in a different factory. I'm not sure. I'm going to break it down, but I do want to shoot this thing. So let's go shoot it. Boys, can you grab the Gen 3 over there? Appreciate it. Oh, and batteries. Oh, and BBs.
Why am I grabbing everything?
Just grab it, thank you. After all the specs, now we're here to test it out. First up is the Lancer Tactical Gen 3. We've shot it plenty of times, so let's just give it a test fire because we can. The trigger response is just great, you already know. And the rate of fire. I just wanted to mag up it at a healthy 18-ish BBs per second. It does a pretty damn good job, but let's test out the SSR4 now. Now we have the SSR4. We have the same 11-1 LiPo plugged into this gun, same from the Lancer Tactical Gen 3. Just gonna test it out in semi really quick. Pretty snappy. It keeps up. I'm actually pleasantly surprised. What about the full auto? Shoots pretty good. Yeah, it does a pretty damn good job. Honestly, it shoots really familiar feeling, very similar to the Lancer Tactical Gen 3, but honestly, any gun around this price range, I expect them to shoot very similar. But let's see what the gun is made of internally. Let's go break both of them down. There was one left, yay. All right, we just got back from shooting both the SSR4 and the Lancer Tactical Gen 3, and they performed very similarly, which is a good thing because the Lancer Tactical Gen 3 does punch above its own weight in terms of performance. But I will say the SSR4 did have a slightly crispier trigger response and a slightly faster rate of fire. I do believe the 16-to-1 gear set is the culprit of that. So in terms of shooting, the SSR4 did feel a little bit better, but it's time to break these things open. I'm excited to do it. You're excited to see it. Boaz is dreading it because he has to record the whole thing, so let's just get into it. All right, guys, I have both the Lancer Tactical Gen 3 and the SSR4 broken down in front of me here. And my hypothesis of them being both made from the same factory is looking more and more correct by the second. First, I'm going to take a look at the Gearbox shells, which look exactly the same. They come from the same exact mold, it looks like. As you can see, the cuts, especially toward the motor cage or the motor section, look exactly the same. The mold lines that you could see in the gearbox itself look exactly the same. The finish on the external of the gearbox is different. Theirs is a little bit more glossy. As for Novritsch is a little bit more flat. I do believe this is what they meant by polish because the inside of the gearboxes look the same. I don't know what else to say. The Lancer Tactical does have 8mm ball bearings versus the Novritsch SSR4 does have steel bushings. But I do find this interesting because we do have these steel bushings branded under Lancer Tactical available on the website. So very interesting. Now we're going to talk about the motors. In the Lancer Tactical Gen 3, we do have their high-speed motor. Not that much torque, but it does get a high RPM right there. So pretty standard, only in the Gen 3s. But in the SSR4, we do have a high torque motor, which honestly, from the finish and the color, it does look like it is coming from the same factory. But I have seen this exact motor in other Lancer Tactical models, which is very interesting. But theirs on the SSR4 is a high torque. So turning the gear here is a little bit stiffer, which I do believe is going to help out with that trigger response. Now time to talk about the Hopup Unit. Right here we have the Lancer Tactical Gen 3 Hopup Unit. It is black, but it is their rotary style Hopup Unit. It works great in all of their guns. It is the same design as the Lancer Tactical Gen 2, but only in black instead of red. But the SSR4 does have the red Hopup Unit, literally 1-for-1 verbatim for the Lancer Tactical Gen 2 Hopup Unit. Nothing wrong with it. It works great. Completely adjustable, whatever you need. But as you can see between the two, let me see if I can get both of these in frame. It's the same Hopup Unit, just different color. Copy and paste, but change the answer. It's the same. It works great. And they're both 6.03 inner barrels. They feel about the same. This one's a little bit longer, so a little bit heftier. Overall, I'm not surprised. Now we're going to talk about the compression set. Now this is where a majority of the changes from the Lancer Tactical Gen 3 versus the SSR4 are happening. But there are still some of the same parts. The tappet plate is exactly the same. Let me see if I can do the zoom in right there. They're exactly the same. Again, different color. The red color you can find in the Lancer Tactical Gen 2 line. Again, Lancer Tactical Gen 3 is for them to differentiate. They've made all of those black. The cylinder head is definitely different. We have a stainless steel 3-ported cylinder head versus the aluminum no ports, or I'm sorry, I said cylinder head, but this is the cylinder versus the no port cylinder, which is aluminum. So this one is a little bit heavier. It does help out with the vibration of the gearbox, but both do the job. You can have your arguments there. Going on to the air nozzle, the Lancer Tactical Gen 3 is using a palm air nozzle versus the Lancer Tactical Gen 3 palm air nozzle. SSR4 aluminum O-ring air nozzle. So that I think is a huge improvement. There are some people that say that they prefer not to run aluminum because of metal to metal wear from the air nozzle and the cylinder head. That will be up to debate for you. I personally don't mind whatever is available that gives me the better compression. Moving on to the cylinder head, we have a regular 1 O-ring cylinder head in the Lancer Tactical Gen 3 right there. That one is made of palm as well, versus the Novritsch is an aluminum one, which uses a cup seal, which is very interesting. You don't see that quite often in the air nozzles, so I'm not really sure if that's an upgrade or if that provides a better seal, but it is made of aluminum compared to the polycarbonate right there. So debatable again on the durability, but that is a major difference. And then going on to the piston, the SSR4 is using an aluminum piston head, single O-ring, versus the polycarbonate piston from the Lancer Tactical Gen 3. I personally have run aluminum air nozzles, or cylinder heads, I'm sorry, for the longest time. I've had no issues, but I do know it increases the weight of the piston overall and can affect your cycling. Versus palm, it's lighter, it's still durable, nothing to worry about. The pistons, though, are the same factory. Different coloring, different paint on the SSR4, but we have this exact piston with the full metal rack available from Lancer Tactical on the website. So you guys can take that for what it is, but it's exactly the same. And that's not knocking it, because I do really like these pistons. I think they're very solid. All right, now I'm going to do a compression test between the Lancer Tactical Gen 3 and the SSR4. I have all of the compression set right here set up, and let's just give it a test. So, oh yeah, as you can see, there is a little bit of an air leak. I do believe that is because the air nozzle does not have an O-ring itself. But let me actually test the cylinder head. Oh yeah, that's actually like perfect. See, there's resistance there and it's not leaking. So air nozzle on the Lancer Tactical Gen 3. But let me test out the Novritsch SSR4. So here we go again, full compression set. One thing that is very concerning is that the cylinder head just fits somewhat loose here. So I can easily just slide that in. That's very concerning. There's still a little bit of air leakage. I do believe that's because of the cylinder head and how loose that fits. Like honestly, like normally you shouldn't be able to just do that. So that is weird. This air nozzle does have an O-ring. I do believe that is providing a good enough seal. I think the cylinder head is the problem. Honestly, it's just leaking from there. Again, concerning, but this is to be expected. A little bit of air leakage from like out of the box guns. These are mass produced parts that, you know, the QC, they try to be there, but if you want perfect compression, you're gonna need to take it apart, do it yourself by hand, so you can fine tune it exactly the way you want it. But this is honestly predictable. Now we are going to be talking about the gear set. The SSR4 is using a 16-to-1 gear set versus the Lancer Tactical is using 18-to-1s. Now, this one does have the sector gear from Zion Arms to work with their Nebula Mosfet. So this one does have the magnet sensor, as you can see right there on the side. But honestly, it's a standard gear set to be expected from an out-of-the-box gun. The SSR4 gear set, though, is actually not bad. So they do say that they are wire cut gear set. 16-1s, like I said, so higher performance in terms of the revolutions for the gear set. But overall, I think they are quite decent. The sector clip, as you can see, is made of the same material. You might not be able to see that on camera that well, but the footprint looks to be exactly the same, which isn't surprising because Lancer Tactical does offer a 16-to-1 wire cut gear set that looks exactly like this that we have available. So only adding more fuel to them being made from the same factory. But it's not a bad thing. Again, the SSR4 did have better trigger response and rate of fire, slightly more compared to the Lancer Tactical Gen 3. So I do think that those parts are helping aid that. Time to talk about the spring guides. They have the same exact footprint for the notches that lock into the gearbox. If you don't know, these aren't the same across the board for a lot of different manufacturers. Like this Lancer Tactical one won't fit in a G&G. A G&G won't fit into a Classic Army, and so on and so forth. So as you can tell, this footprint is the same. Now, it is going to be different in the design. The SSR4 actually has a two-piece spring guide, which can be found on the Pro line series from Lancer Tactical, and they also sell this aftermarket as an upgrade compared to the plastic one that comes in the Lancer Tactical Gen 2s. Versus the Lancer Tactical Gen 3, it is a one-piece metal spring guide. Both of them do have the ball bearing washers at the bottom to help reduce the friction for the spring when you are shooting the gun, but both do the job, and as you can see, same factory. All right, the final difference internally is going to be the ETU or Mosfet. As you know, the Lancer Tactical Gen 3 does have the Zion Arms Nebula Mosfet. As you can see, you have the Zion Arms logo there with the American flag. This does have a wide variety of programmability, which is very nice. And this uses a magnet sensor that is on the sector gear. So as the sector gear is spinning, when it makes a full rotation, the magnet will trigger the sensor to activate the active braking. Versus the Novritsch SSR4 is using a different board. This one actually uses a switch system. So when the sector gear is actually spinning, it will physically knock the switch to activate the active braking, and that notch is activated from the notch in the sector gear itself. Now, one thing that I will note is that the Zion Arms Mosfet does have way more programmability options compared to the SSR4. The SSR4, from what I saw, has 4 different programming modes. It's semi full auto for the first round. Second is binary and full auto. Third round is binary and 3-round burst, and I forget the 4th one, but that's pretty much it. Versus the Zion Arms Mosfet, you can go from semi-auto, 2-round burst, 3-round burst, 4-round burst, up to 5-round burst, binary trigger, and full auto as well. And you can program that interchangeably, I guess would be the correct word. So you do have more options with the Zion Arms Nebula Mosfet. But both do offer very great active braking, so you don't have to worry about overcycling at all. And they both provide a very crisp trigger response compared to a standard wiring harness from a version 2 gearbox. So Either way, it's an upgrade, but Zion Arms does have more to offer, and I think that was a good move on their part. In conclusion, guys, I think it's safe to say that Novritsch is going through the same factory as Lancer Tactical and picking different parts to install into the SSR4, which is why you see a lot of similarities in the gearbox themselves. But the different internal parts, you can literally buy aftermarket branded under Lancer Tactical. They're all available. It's crazy. But this isn't a knock on Novritsch. I do think this is a well-built gun out of the box from a factory. As toward the Lancer Tactical Gen 3, I do think it is well-built as well. But the most important part is none of these parts are proprietary, okay? You can upgrade them with whatever you want. You can change out whatever you want. And if you really want to fine-tune your airsoft gun, you're going to need to take the gun apart yourself and do it by hand. That isn't something that a factory can do for you. Now that we've taken a look at both of the guns broken down, you might be wondering, Cisco, why don't you guys carry the SSR4 or any other Novritsch airsoft gun? Well, Novritsch is still a newer airsoft company, and we don't think they have the resources that are required to manufacture their products in mass and provide them to dealers like us. If you don't know, the process of manufacturing an airsoft gun and getting them shipped out to dealers is quite expensive, and it can be a risky investment, which is why Novritsch making his products, selling them on his website makes sense. Now guys, if you want a full metal AEG that has similar performance to the SSR4 or the Lancer Tactical Gen 3, I'm actually in the process of making my very first airsoft gun with the help of Airsoft GI and the same factory that makes the SSR4 and the Lancer Tactical Gen 3. So if you guys want to help support that project, the gun is available for pre-order at airsoftgi.com. It is the MGC4, the first ever male gang airsoft gun for you guys. This is a once-in-a-lifetime experience, opportunity, and it's honestly a dream of mine come true. I never thought I'd be able to make an airsoft gun, especially, you know, how long I've been playing and being able to take the input from you guys and come up with something really cool for you guys is really awesome. So stay tuned for more info on that. But if you want to help support the project, again, they are available for pre-order at Airsoft GI. Overall, guys, I think it's really cool that airsoft factories are increasing the quality of their airsoft guns and parts. It makes it possible for guys like Novritsch to go to them and pick and choose the parts that they want to install into their airsoft guns to sell to you guys. If Novritsch were to try and do this 10, 15 years ago, he'd more than likely have to buy the base gun and then install all the parts that he wants into each gun individually. But because factories are increasing their quality, it makes it easier for guys like Novritsch or guys like myself to get into the airsoft business. All right, you guys, thank you for joining us in our breakdown of the Novritsch SSR4. Was there anything that you found surprising in our breakdown? Let us know in the comments below. If you want to support us directly, make sure you go over to airsoftgi.com and pick up all your airsoft goodies over there, because that helps us out extremely. And we have a ton of promos that we have going on. We try to get you the best deals in airsoft, so you should take advantage of those while you can. And if you're in the market for a full metal airsoft gun, again, check out the MGC4. It is a dream of mine come true because of you guys. Don't forget to subscribe for more content. We upload every week. I live stream every week, and we try to keep you entertained. But other than that, guys, my name is Cisco, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.